Oh, okay. The problem we have now with our inventory, say we place one weapon here, we place another weapon here, and then we go and place one. Okay, switch it like this, and then I go onto this slot and add this. We remove what we have previously. So I'm going to guess there is a reference that is probably overlapping to here. So let's go on to the UI inventory manager. And okay, we know this is the inventory navigation. When we press X on a slot, it means we actually selected an item, and then we should be now replacing any previous slots we had on from our current slot. Okay, we should be emptying the previous slots and then loading this onto the new one. So I think I'm going to guess we might not update or either on the current slot. So the better way to do this will be to actually add some breakpoints. Okay, and I'm going to add the breakpoint down here. However, I'm first going to go and replicate that. Actually, if we just put a breakpoint here and then select the sword here. Okay, now let's see what we're having. Yeah, this actually no. Let's hit continue. This worked correctly now. Let's switch this to here and then switch this onto the sword. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here. So we go through the entire process together. Okay, so we know with this it's not really going to do anything. And we know that our current slot has an item, which in this case it's the weapon. Okay, sword and so on and so on. Then on the next step we're going to get the assigned slot from our item, which is our sword, which the assigned slot, I think it has to do, maybe it has to do something with this. Let's say not public, or maybe the public variables. Okay, that's not what we need. X and Y is 0, 0 for the assigned slot. And however, if we look on our current slot, yeah, I guess that's still 0, 0. Yeah, maybe are we not using this anymore? Go to the UI item solution. Are we not using this? What? No, we do. So I think it has to do only with the first slot, and because for whatever reason we get 0, 0 values to this, even though we're saying we want 1 and 0 for this one, although this is the previously assigned slot. Okay, so let's hit the brakes to this, and we now need to find current slot dot item assigned slot. So we need to know what is the assigned slot, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say if the previous slot dot item equals the current slot dot item. Okay, I'm going to guess that we have some issues with the previous, with the assigned slot, maybe we're not assigning it all the time. Let's see. Which doesn't really make a lot of sense since we're doing this here. Okay, since we are placing that. Okay, anyway, let's try this. Hit play. Okay, so we assign the sword, we assign this, we assign both of them together, and here if I assign the sword, yeah, so that's fixed. Okay, so if it's not, we're doing an additional check for the sword. If it's not the one we had, or well, for the items, in case where we kind of missed where are we placing the sword, or the item, the assigned slot on the items. Okay, and so yeah, that's how this is fixed. We simply only needed one additional check, or find another place that we should also be clearing up the references for the assigned slots. Okay, so with this we are done with the with one way for the inventory. We now need to load the items back into our inventory. We already have these items be loading onto the player. Now we want the starting items to populate the inventory for when we begin. So let's close all of this. So I'm going to go onto my init inventory, which we have already seen, which is the culprit that we had a few issues in the past. But basically what this is doing is creating new item instances and assigning them depending on the slots we are in. We can use the same integer because we know that the first weapon we have over here is going to be assigned on the first slot. Okay, same with this. We can use the same logic and use and yeah, basically populate our list. So let's see. Right hand slots, okay, and weapon. Yeah, so I think we should just do a reference to this. So I'm going to say, let's find on the UI inventory manager, when we want to assign an item, we're basically running this logic. Okay, so well, we want to run the exact same thing, but without the on back to inventory and the update inventory, because we don't really need it for when we are starting. So I'm going to do a public void, which is going to say assign item on slot. Okay, let's pass the entire item to this target item. And the problem now is that we don't have the actual slot. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of finding us a little bit of this is going to give us some slight issues. But what we can do is we can populate the way, or well, we just need a way that we're going to be storing all our slots, and from that slots we're going to be assigning them, which is kinda or semi easy to do because we already have the slot types. Okay, so we can create a method that will return you that type of a slot. Okay, so let's do a public. Actually, it doesn't need to be public. Let's do a list of UI item slots. And I'm going to say get all slots of type. I don't think we have this in before, so slot type, and then since we have all of our list slot, yeah, I think we populate this on start, and this is are the slots. So yeah, here it is. So for slots dot length if slots I dot slot type equals the slot type, then we're going to have some return value over here, return that return value, and then add slots I. Okay. This needs to be item slot, not slot type. Okay, so down here, target item. Actually, slot type, I think slot type is, or is it not? UI slot type, yeah, it's a scriptable object, and it comes from the item type. Okay, so the item though, you have the item type, so yeah, we can't use the slot type, we need to use the item type. Damn it. So let's go onto the UI item slot, and instead of UI slot type, let's use public item type, because it's really the same thing. Let's see where else were we using this. Yeah, I see we are kind of using this again on some other places, so let's keep that as well. Or yeah, you know what, instead of having to rewrite this, instead of having to reassign all of this, and let me think, we can keep a reference to all the slot types we have. Yeah, okay, we're going to do it like that. We're going to make it a little bit more dynamic. So slot type, slot types. Okay, and here we're going to say slot types. Let's also initialize this, and when we are initializing this on start, where we're going through all our slots, we're going to say if slots I dot slot type, and actually slot types dot contains slot type, and if this is false, so we don't have already assigned this slot type onto our list, we're simply going to add it over here. Slot types slots I dot slot type. Okay, so with this we can pass the item type, or you know what, instead of doing this, instead of doing a list, let's optimize this. Let's do a dictionary with the item type, slot types, and then we're going to turn this into a dictionary. New dictionary slot types. So add, and it's going to be slots I dot slot type dot item type, and it's going to return you the scriptable object. And then we need to set this to contains key slot type dot item type. Okay, and it's going to add that. So let's create a method that we're also going to be getting the slot types from this, the slot type from item type. So we need a UI slot type, get slot type from item type. We're going to be passing the item type. Okay, then UI slot type null return r, and then slot types dot try and get value item type out. Okay, so we have all of this. Get slot type from item type. Then let's go down over here. We now need to have the UI slot type. Actually, we now need to have all we need the slot type equals get slot type from item type, and that will be target item dot item type. Okay, then we need a list of UI slots, item slots, and let's say available slots, and we do this get all slots of type slot type. So we now have our entire list, which means if we're passing the index, okay, we can assign that onto the available slots. For most cases, the index will just be 0, apart from the weapons. Well, okay, apart from rings and also apart from the items. But, so let's say, we can say, and let's copy some logic from this. So we can say available slots index load item will just be target item, and yeah, okay, local player profile will just stay the same. And then available slots index well, we can just change this to target item assigned slot available slots index. So on the init inventory down here, we're going to say UI inventory manager. Do we have a reference to this, or should we? Is this singleton? Yeah, this is not a singleton. So how do we have the reference to this guy? There's also the case that this might run after our UI inventory, after our init inventory, so we kind of need to, do a little bit of working. So first of all, we're going to have to make this into a singleton. Static okay, then everything that we have on start is going to go on init. I'm going to delete these two. Okay, then from the init inventory, before we do anything to this, we're going to go UI inventory manager init, And down here we can just do dot assign item on slot. We do have the item, and that will be right hand item. The index will be what you have over there. Okay, on to the left hand, we're just going to add +3 onto the index. Okay, and we of course need to change this to left hand. Now for the other ones though, for example the wear clothes, it might not be that easy, but still let's try this. Actually, let's try this once and then we'll try the other, the clothes and stuff like that. So let's hit play. Start game. Okay, we have another reference because our inventory manager has not yet initialized. So that brings us to another issue, that awake, I'm going to guess that, yeah, the UI inventory manager is actually starting closed. Yeah, as you can see, is starting as disabled. So we're going to go on to something that runs first before everything else. I'm going to guess that it's going to be, I think, I don't want to assign this on the level manager. It's not going to make a lot of sense. And you know what, actually this might be the wrong case. So when we are instantiating our prefab, controller prefab, or multiplayer controller, yes. Let's find our resources, which is data, resources, input handler, is it this? Yeah, I think that's it. Open prefab, or maybe not. Well, I think this is, anyway, so, and yeah, okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to actually instantiate the canvas as well. So close this and let's go onto our scenes on level 1, and I'm going to take the entire canvas and I'm going to go onto prefabs, resources, and I'm going to just say game canvas. I'm going to make it this into a prefab and delete this. Then we need to make sure that the init inventory only runs onto a single player. If it runs on multiple players, then that's going to be a slight of a problem. And because, yeah, I think that we are indeed on running on single player because we are creating new instances. But if we're not, then we're just simply going to move this part of the code somewhere else. So we can just do instantiate, or if states dot is, yeah, okay, let's do it like this, is local player, instantiate resources dot load inventory or game canvas as game object. Okay, this is going to instantiate your inventory manager, and then this is going to init it, and we simply just need to take this and add it here and here. Okay. Let's try this. Actually, that's the wrong level. We need to start from the menu and not from this. Compile. So close that. Hit play. Start game. And let's see. So now the issue is that the awake hasn't yet started. And actually no, we do create our canvas, but the UI Inventory Manager is actually starting as closed. So if we find our canvas, which is this, on our game menu, this needs to be opened. We're going to do it like that, and we're just going to force the Inventory Manager to close to basically close itself. So let's close all of this. I think we already have a method. Equipment. Yeah, I actually don't like this. So let's go via the input handler, which is going to be somewhere over here. Let's see. Controller. No. That's for conditions. Okay, the actions. Yeah, so this kind of we need to update this method a little bit because it's really cluttered. So is menu or pressed, okay. Inventory monitor, execute, inventory, load player items. We're not even using this from what I can see. Yeah, not at high weapon, close items, out range. Let's go back. Yeah, it's over here on game and on inventory. So we are raising this. We are doing this with this. So we need this game event onto our UI Inventory Manager. So on init, you're also going to do on game dot raise. Okay, save those things. Although I think we might still going to have an issue with the singleton. So let's remove the singleton and see how we can do this without the singleton. We're going to go over here and we're going to say I want a reference to my UI Inventory Manager. Okay, and it's just going to be null. But if you do indeed instantiate this, then save that onto an object, and UI Inventory now is going to be canvas.getComponent in children UI Inventory Manager. Okay, UI Inventory Manager then dot init, and then below, instead of all of that, we're just going to say UI Inventory Manager, UI Inventory. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. However, we do need to find again the UI Inventory Manager so that we have him enabled when we are starting, and the game menus, I mean. And then on the Inventory Manager, we're going to assign the on-game event. So it closes this after that. Don't forget to apply the prefab somehow. Let's see. We need this open, and we need Inventor Manager to have the on-game vent. Okay. So how on earth do we apply this? We don't. Apparently we don't anymore. So we're going to take it in good faith and we are going to continue. Hit play. Okay, so taking this in good faith didn't work. Why is this complaining? As another reference, I think there might be slots that don't actually have a slot type. Let's take a look out here. Let's see, center, left, equipment, weapon slots. We know for a fact that weapon slots have slot types, obviously. Yeah, arrows don't have anything, so that's probably what hit. The armor doesn't have anything. Rings as well. Consumables as well, nothing. And the Covenant as well, nothing. Okay, now, so that I just don't have to go and populate all of this, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to check first if slot type is not null for now. But the proper way to do this will be, of course, to go and assign this. Okay. And I'm going to do that when not recording, because there's not really a reason for that now. So hit play. Start the game. Okay, and there we go. Our starting item is there. If we go now onto our player profile, let's just write profile because I don't remember what this is. Okay, player profile. And say that on the second slot, we're going to have the sword for the left hand weapon. Let's try that as well. Have an error because it should be because second slot should be, let's find where, and that will be on to generic list at 633 395, which of course is going to be in here 395 because the available slots we got, I think it was +2. So if we go definition, if we go to this, I think that should be 2. Let's see, because 1, 2, no. Actually, let's try 2. I think that should be, before we think deeper into this. Maybe not 2. Yeah, okay. So let's put this, leave this at 3, and we're just going to go in here and put a breakpoint. Hit play. Let's see how we are on time. Okay, we have time. Start game, and we have yeah, we don't want the first one, we know it's going to be working, we want the second one. So we have target item, okay, and then step next, available slots. We need to also step on the next one, and this returns us 3 available slots. Okay, so that's why we have an issue. We only have 3 available slots. However, I think weapon slot child, yeah, I think it might be because of this. Let's go and look at our canvas and see if they share their logics. Left, equipment. Yeah, we have 2 different weapon slots. Okay, so we need to switch both of them to have only one. So I'm just going to delete these 2, clear that, and then I'm going to go and set the what was that? Yeah, our canvas, or not canvas, on our prefab. On the game canvas, open the prefab, open that as well. Game menus, inventory manager, inventory, center, left, equipment, and we need all of them onto our weapon slots. Slot type, it's just going to be each weapon. Okay, let's take a look on our cloth slots. Let's assign the cloth slot as well. But on our cloth slot, we only have the item type. Okay, we'll see. We'll worry about the slot, the cloth slot later. So we have our prefab set. Save that. Hit play. Start game. And okay, starting items. Let's do the cloth now. For our cloth slots, it's going to be a little bit different than this. This is going to work fine for consumables, items, weapons. Okay, basically any slot that has more than one item. Now, let's do something for the cloth. Public void assign cloth item on slot. Okay, close that. We need to pass the target item. And then we're going to do the same thing actually here. Okay, we still want all the available slots, but through these available slots, we're going to need to find the cloth item type. So this will be cloth item, target item. Okay, so let's say cloth item here. And for each cloth item we have the cloth item dot body part. Okay, we have the body part. We're using the body part, which is actually a good way to use this. So we can just go on the UI item slot, and actually not on the UI item slot, since we already have the UI cloth type. Yeah, we already have the cloth slot, which means I can just assign a body part here. So back to the UI inventory manager, we can say for each, actually, you know what, instead of having to do unnecessary castings on the UI cloth, let's just assign the body part onto this one. And if you're not using the body part, then you know, who cares? We're going to do it. So item type, load item. So save this as well. On the UI inventory manager, we're just going to do for each UI item slot in available slots. Let's put the T here. If slot dot body part actually we have this on the slot type. That's actually wrong. We have this on the slot type. We don't want this on the slot type. We just want this on the item slot. Okay, that's the proper way. And then on the UI inventory manager, slot dot body part equals cloth item dot body part. Then there you go. You are assigning. You're basically going to do this. Available slots dot so on and so on, and then you're going to have to assign. This is going to be changed to slot, and this as well is going to be changed to slot as well. Okay, so taking this and going back to the init inventory, on the wear cloth items, if states dot is local player and UI inventory, assign cloth item on slot, and then of course that item is going to be the item. Okay, so that's going to load all your items back to your canvas, depending on your depending on on which slot you actually added the body part. So let's find the data now. Resources, game canvas, open prefab, game menus, inventory, center left, equipment, and here we are, armor. Now we're just going to add some random ones. So I'm just going to say whatever, beard, helmet, and boots. Okay, that's all the 3 body parts we have into this. So now hit play. Start game, open it up, and as you can see, we have the items assigned to this. Let's see if we can change this. So that's kind of not what we want to do. Okay, as you can see, with this, when we are opening up a cloth type, we actually get all clothes, not just the one we need, the one we can use. So we're going to have to write some additional logic for this as well. And let's see, we do have a couple of minutes for that. So let's do this onto our UI inventory manager, and it's going to be similar to this actually. So let's copy that and let's go up to get all slots of type. This will return us all slots, and I think we have to do this as, let's see, we do vendor. Let's navigate the equipment, and then on select equipment slot, on select equipment slot, we're going to we have the slot, the target slot. We need to find the type items, but first on our target slot, we're going to check if target slot dot body part is null, or is not null, then that means you have a closed slot. Okay, is not null, you're going to be doing this, otherwise do what we are already doing. Okay, so for this one we're basically going to do the exact same thing, but if the item type is equals the same slot type, and if items I dot yeah, I'm going to assume that the cloth item is going to be, it can be casted as a cloth item. So we're going to have items I dot items I, and if cloth item equals the target slot, if cloth items dot body part actually equals the target slot dot body part, then it's the type item, so it's an item you can actually use. Okay, so I think the rest should probably work just fine. Okay, save all of this, minimize, and hit play. Start game. Okay, open that up, and when we have this, we only have helmets and all we have pants. So for the most part, the inventory is actually complete. We don't have anything that, we don't have rings, we don't have spells or something to do with the spells, and we don't have consumable items. But the main methods for all of them, it's this one. Okay, we're still going to be assigning the logic exactly the same as this. So I think it's time to move on from the inventory, because I'm sure the way as I do, we are fed up with this. So let's do something else for the next parts, and then when we have to do again the multiplayer things and all those stuff, then we are going to switch. Yeah, we're going to finish and add the consumables so we can, invade with items and stuff like that, if that's something you want to do on your game. Okay, so for the most part, I say the inventory is now done. So as always, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and if you like to see more stuff like this, of course, consider supporting me on Patreon so we can keep making all of these. I'll see you next time.